God, watch out! Are you trying to kill me?
Peter, a sensitive and romantic young man who doesn't care about others, runs after his girlfriend Natalia on the street to catch her before she leaves. He succeeds in reaching her and drops to his knees in a cinematic romantic scene, telling her he loves her and wants to marry her. Natalia is touched and agrees, calling him romantic. Fast forward 5 years into their marriage, the couple is sitting together in a cafe celebrating their anniversary. Peter tells Natalia he brought her flowers and an iron as a gift. She questions the iron, asking if he thinks she's his mother on Mother's Day. He retorts, asking if she likes his wrinkled shirts, and reminds her that she's been asking for an iron. But every time he suggests ironing something, she claims the iron is broken. Natalia gets upset and leaves, expressing her frustration that they never go out, travel, or do anything properly. Peter assures her they will travel and do everything once their financial situation improves a bit. They then visit a small amusement park to change their mood. There, they encounter a woman selling fortune cards, claiming they can bring back a lover and make an arrow hit its target. The couple decides to buy a card to try their luck. Peter doesn't have enough money, so Natalia pays the remaining amount, which is more than what he paid. Later at work, Natalia's close friend Agatha is excited to know what her husband gave her for their anniversary. Natalia complains, saying he thinks she's his maid, who will work as his ironer and carpet washer. They then sit with their manager and discuss work in the advertising field. The manager assigns them a client, a company called Deaf Shore. Meanwhile, Peter is at his workplace talking to his friend Lewis, complaining about his financial situation. Their manager, Dr. Jamara, calls Peter to talk to him. She informs him that bonuses have been suspended due to the company's lack of liquidity and that they need to work on a new idea to generate money and overcome the crisis. Peter returns home upset, and Natalia also returns frustrated because Natalia wasn't happy about not getting the corn company and wanting the beverage company instead. As they meet their easygoing neighbor Bogdan, who is always standing in the garden trimming plants, he asks if they want to buy a safe from him, like all the other neighbors. Peter sarcastically replies, asking if it looks like they have money to even buy a kilo of paneer, let alone a safe. Later that night, as the couple prepares to sleep, Dr. Jamara calls Peter, but he doesn't answer. However, Natalia, being suspicious, tells him she's calling him right now. Peter assures her it's probably work-related and shows her he's not answering. Natalia accuses him of only not answering because she mentioned it and tells him to take his phone and sleep on the couch, which he does. The next morning, Natalia wakes up to Peter screaming. She rushes downstairs and finds him unable to speak. She asks if it's a chest attack, saying she had a feeling, but he denies it. She then suggests a silent heart attack, saying she expected it, but tells him not to worry as she's by his side. Again, he denies it and reveals they won the lottery. Natalia can't believe they won 5,000 zlotys, but Peter corrects her, saying they won 5 million zlotys. She flies with joy and they both start dreaming about how they'll spend the money. Later at work, Natalia informs her manager that she no longer needs the job and keeps insulting her. He tells her she's fired, but she retorts that she already submitted her resignation and is taking Agatha with her. Agatha is confused, but Natalia tells her to be quiet, claiming she knows what's best for her. As they leave, Agatha keeps saying Natalia will ruin her life and leave her on the street. Natalia reveals she won lottery money and will open a cafe where they'll work together as property owners. Agatha is thrilled and asks how much she won. When Natalia says 5, Agatha assumes it's 500,000, but Natalia confirms it's indeed 500,000. As they walk, they pass by a cafe Natalia likes, and she pays a 3-month advance to the owner and rents it from him. At the same moment, Peter is sitting with Lewis, telling him he won a division prize in the lottery, but doesn't specify the exact amount. They discuss where to keep all the money, realizing it's not safe to keep it in the bank. They decide to buy a safe from Bogdan to store their money, and Bogdan gives them a large safe. Peter gives Natalia a guarantee paper for the safe. He then tells her he fixed the bathroom socket if she wants to try it. She goes to check and starts mocking him for not fixing it properly. When she meets Agatha and tells her what happened, Agatha keeps instigating her, saying he suddenly felt the need to fix the socket because he wanted to get rid of her and take the money for himself. As luck would have it, they are sitting in a restaurant and get shocked when they see Peter entering with his manager, Dr. Jamara. Agatha goes and places her mobile phone on the waiter's tray near their table to eavesdrop on their conversation. Later, Natalia approaches Peter and Dr. Jamara, asking what they're doing there. Peter explains they came to discuss a new work project. When they return home, They listen to Peter's conversation with Dr. Jamara on Agatha's phone, where he says the old is gone and they need to think about the new. This ambiguous statement is disastrous because they're actually talking about work. But Natalia thinks he really wanted to get rid of her. When she checks her life insurance policy, she discovers he's the beneficiary and becomes convinced he wants to kill her. Agatha keeps telling her she must have lunch with him before he has dinner with her and get rid of him first. That night, Natalia goes to sleep with a knife under her pillow. When Peter enters to sleep, he's surprised to find the knife and calmly puts it away. The next morning, when Natalia wakes up and sees the knife missing, she panics, thinking he took it to kill her. Meanwhile, at work, Dr. Jamara gives Peter an invitation to a luxurious hotel for 2 people, suggesting he and his wife celebrate their anniversary there and try out the new hotel as they might enter a project with them. Peter tells Lewis about the knife he found under the pillow, and Lewis says it seems like she wants to get rid of him and suggests he use the hotel opportunity to eliminate her there. Peter returns home and prepares a meal for Natalia, creating a romantic atmosphere. Natalia watches him cutting the meat and thinks his cutting style is like Hannibal's, wondering if he's going to kill her. She's afraid to eat or drink anything he offers, thinking he might have put poison in it. She keeps glancing at the insecticide in the garden, thinking he might have put it in her food to kill her. The next morning, they get ready to go to the hotel and encounter. Bogdan greets them, and they tell him they're also in a good mood and going on a trip. Natalia insists on driving the car, and on the way, she almost causes an accident. Peter says she could have killed him, and she retorts, asking if he doesn't want to kill her. He's confused, and she dismisses the conversation. They arrive at the hotel, get an upgrade to their room, and take the honeymoon suite. They're impressed with the suite and say they'll remember their honeymoon memories there. While they're sitting, a person named Christian arrives, introducing himself as a tour guide who will take them on a jungle tour and skydiving. He tells them it's part of the entertainment program they paid for, with no additional costs. Natalia calls Agatha to join her because she's afraid Peter will kill her if she's alone. Similarly, Peter calls Lewis, telling him he's afraid Natalia will kill him if they're alone, and asks him to come. By pure coincidence, Agatha and Lewis meet at the beach bar, and there's a mutual attraction, leading to intimacy in Agatha's room. The next day, Christian takes the group to the jungle to give them instructions before the trip. Peter finds wild berries on the ground and keeps eating them, offering some to Natalia. However, Christian knocks them out of her hand before she can eat them, saying they might be poisonous. Natalia thinks Peter intended to do that and wants to kill her. They continue their trip, climbing mountains, and Natalia almost falls, but Christian saves her. She believes Peter is responsible and wanted to get rid of her. Later, Peter sits with Lewis and tells him to take Natalia to a restaurant while he sneaks into their room and spills oil on the bathroom floor so that when she enters, she slips, hits her head on the tiles, and dies, making it look like an accident. Lewis agrees it's a brilliant plan. At the same time, Agatha asks Natalia if Peter has any food allergies. Natalia says he's allergic to almonds. Agatha suggests Natalia go to the restaurant while she sneaks in and puts almonds in Peter's order, causing him to choke and die, also making it look like an accident. They both go to the restaurant and Lewis sneaks into the house. Agatha tries to enter the kitchen to add almonds, but discovers the person she thought was the chef is actually a dishwasher who was just pretending to impress her. When the real chef arrives, Agatha is kicked out of the kitchen. As Peter sits down, Natalia watches Peter cough and struggle to breathe while eating. She prepares an injection to finish him off, making it appear to others that she's trying to help him. However, Peter gets up and tells her he just choked on the food and there's nothing wrong. They leave the restaurant as if nothing happened. As they walk, Natalia tells Peter she'll get some ice and go to the room. She then meets Agatha, who is hiding in the bushes waiting for her. Agatha suggests they move on to the next plan, cutting Peter's parachute cords so that when they jump from the plane, he falls and dies. Natalia refuses, saying he's still her husband and she doesn't want him to suffer, just die without pain. She walks away to find Peter. Natalia overhears Peter talking to Lewis, saying that since she tried to give him an injection, she wants to get rid of him, so they need to move on to the backup plan. Natalia quickly returns to Agatha and tells her to forget everything she said and just cut the cord. Later, Natalia goes to the room where Peter is waiting. When she says she'll take a shower, he rushes in first, remembering the oil. He slips and falls, realizing there's oil on the floor. The next day, Peter and Natalia go to the sauna for relaxation. She leaves him there and Lewis arrives, thinking Natalia is inside. This is the backup plan Peter mentioned. Lewis turns the sauna to the maximum temperature, locks it, and leaves. Agatha laughs with Natalia, saying Peter's stupid friend will kill him. However, Natalia feels sympathetic towards Peter and goes to save him before he dies, saying he's still her husband and the love of her life. Because of this incident, they both decide to treat each other better. Peter suggests they pretend not to know each other and get to know each other again. He cancels the hotel reservation and they take a cabin in the woods to spend their vacation together, away from all the chaos. Meanwhile, the vengeful Louis and the cunning Agatha sit together, saying they both left their jobs and lives for Natalia and Peter, expecting one of them to kill the other so they could take money from the survivor. However, with the current situation, they've lost everything. They decide to take revenge on both of them. On the other hand, we see Natalia and Peter's relationship has greatly improved. But when Peter goes to take a shower, he receives a message from Dr. Jamara says she can't leave him and must come to him. Natalia gets upset and decides to leave the house, leaving a note saying she doesn't want money and he can be with his beloved Jamara. Later, Natalia is sitting on the street when Dr. Jamara passes by in her car, as if the town only has this one street. When Natalia sees her, she accuses her of coming to kill her to take money with Peter. She lies down in front of the car, telling her to run her over. Dr. Jamara explains that she came because Peter told her he wants to resign and spend more time with Natalia since he hasn't been free for a long time, and she's here to convince him to return to work. Natalia realizes she misjudged Peter, and he's not cheating on her. Meanwhile, Peter is at the hotel, and Christian offers him to go skydiving with them. They know his wife said he's afraid, but Peter accepts the challenge and agrees to go with him. When Natalia arrives at the hotel and learns that Peter went skydiving, she remembers Agatha's words and runs quickly to stop him, thinking she must have cut the cord. However, when she reaches there, the plane has already taken off. She watches him, terrified that something might happen to him. But Peter lands safely and nothing happens. Natalia runs to him, tells him she loves him, and apologizes if she upset him before. They decide to return to the cabin to finish their vacation. Later, we see Agatha and Louis breaking into the cabin, demanding their share of the money. Louis is holding an axe to kill them both, but when he runs towards them and Peter steps aside, he falls off the balcony. Agatha runs towards Natalia and Peter, but she also falls off the balcony easily. Peter says they'll call the police to take them away, but Natalia says it's enough and they should return home. When they return, they're shocked to find the safe empty and all the money stolen. When they inform the police, they're told they bought the safe from Bogdan, a well-known thief who stole all the safes he sold in the neighborhood and ran away, and the police are searching for him. They realize they've lost everything except the cafe Natalia rented for 3 months in advance. They decide to visit Louis and Agatha in the hospital and tell them they're starting a new page together, living together and working in the cafe. They do so, and some time passes. We see that Natalia is pregnant and they are sitting in the cafe. As they leave, they encounter the same woman who gave them the lottery ticket the first time. She tells them she has new tickets, but they refuse, saying they wouldn't wish what happened to them even on their worst enemies, and that they are very happy as they are. They leave her and walk away, content.